I was even scammed. I was scammed, right? I was scammed, and I'll tell you how. And okay, I left camp. And immediately I left camp. While I was trying to get a PPA and things like that. When I say camp now, I mean my youth service, right? If you were in Nigeria, you know what youth service is. After you're done with your first degree, you have to go for youth service, which is like you have to be sent to another state to serve the country there and things like that. So as I was back from camp, someone called me. He was like, "Oh, are you Tolu Additional?" And I said, "Yes, I am." He said a friend gave him my contacts that. Hi guys, I'm so happy to start this episode. This series, let me put it like that, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of things that will be useful for people trying to navigate a career in tech or even do something related to tech. Well, why did I start this series? I don't know why I started this series. I don't know why I'm starting this series, and the reason is because I don't know why. I just sat down on my workspace one time, and I felt like, okay, I think it would be a good idea to share some things that has happened to me. I've had a couple of people reach out to me and say, "Oh, I want to hear about yourself. How you navigated this tech thing, and different things like that." Of course, the truth of the matter is that whenever you find yourself in life, right, there is always someone that three sets of people you would always have in life. And the first is the people that are looking up to you, right? The second is the people that you're on the same level with, and the third is the people that you look up to. So I mean, for a lot of people, or some people who actually look up to me, they've asked me the question of, "Oh, how did you start this tech thing?" And some of them are just finishing school, that's university, and several things. So a lot of questions like, "Oh, how do I get started? I'm confused, this." Well, so maybe those are some of the things that's informed my decision to start this series. So this series is just going to be about how and why I fell in love with tech, right? So I'm just sharing this to encourage someone out there and to inspire someone also. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of things about my background, how I started, the things that I went through. I'm going to be sharing you a lot about different aspects of what you might not even know about me, why I started, the things that made me confused, my confusion. I mean, a lot of things, right? I've quite been through some things already, so I mean, I could have some things to share. So let's start about why I started and how I even started at all, my background, and a lot of things about myself which you may not know. So formally, I'm Tolu Mayowa, or Tolu Adeshino. Okay, Mayowa is my middle name. So in case you're just knowing today, Mayowa is my middle name. My surname is Adeshino. So Tolu Mayowa would be more pronounced on the internet. So if you search for Tolu Mayowa, you would see more things about myself than Tolu Adeshino. Well, I don't know how that came into play, how it now became that Tolu Mayowa. My middle name was more pronounced, but it is what it is, right? So, but that's just the point. Now, so talking about how I started and even how it all began. So let's start from my background, right? Because I think this is one of the things that a lot of people are concerned about, their background. Many times a lot of people come, reach out to me and say, "Oh, I want to start something in tech. I want to do this. I want to do that," but they are always concerned about their background. I mean, out of 10 people who try to make some inquiries about starting something in the tech industry, 9 of them would be concerned about their background. And I'm speaking this from experience, right? So going to be sharing a lot about my background and be able to now know, okay, why I give some of the responses I give. So starting it all, right, I think okay, let me start from my discipline in school. Even before school, right from my secondary school. Okay, so when I say school, that I meant the university. So before university, right from my secondary school, I've not been a science student in that sense. When we were in school then, in fact, if you were in Nigeria, we have primary school, secondary school, and then university or tertiary institution. So which might be the polytechnic or university, whichever one. So when I was in the secondary school, a lot of people thought that I would be a science student. I don't know why they thought I would be a science student when I start my SS1, but I was in the commercial class. I chose commercial class. They wanted me to be in science class, but I said no. I was going to be in the commercial class because she's just one thing about me that I've always had the mind of my own to do what I want to do. I don't mean it in the negative way or any way, but I'm just saying that this decision helped me, right? And fortunately, I was around people who were not forcing me to do what I didn't want to do, because some people might have that misfortune of people always forcing them to do what they don't want to do, which might at the end of the day waste a ton of or a big part of their lives, which they would have used to do something else they would really like to do. So I started, and okay, I was in the commercial class. Commercial class is the class that dealt with economics, accounting, commerce, business studies, if I could remember now. So I was in that class, and fortunately I studied economics in my first degree. Well, it was not like I liked economics right from my SS1 days. I think I began to like it when I was in my SS2, maybe SS2 second term or something like that. If I was doing my SS1 days, I hated economics. I didn't know why. The whole thing just sounded too complicated for me. Scale of preference, economics, economics has more than 20 definitions by different people who has defined economics. A lot of things, normative economics, positive economics. It just looks too wide for me, man. But I don't know why or how I started liking it I think I know why. I was reading a textbook when I was in my SS2, so that textbook was very simplified. I think my brother gave me that textbook. Yeah, although the part of the textbook was already torn, but it was still very useful. I think that textbook, I still remember the image in my head. It is somehow high. Anyway, it was not essential. It was not essential economics. If you were in the days of essential economics, you would remember there was essential economics, essential this, essential that. So it was not essential. Essential was not for me because there was nothing essential about it. I didn't just like it, but there was this other one that I read. I can't remember the name now, but I know that textbook, and it's really helped me. When I was in my SS3, I knew economics so much that I fell in love with it, and I wanted to just study it in university. And right from that place, I started researching about who I really wanted to become in the future. When you were young, you would hear something like, oh, what do you want to become in the future, and things like that, and you would say, oh, doctor, oh, lawyer, I want to be this, I want to be that. So I think at that time, I told myself I wanted to be a minister of finance. Was it that? Okay, I think I was talking between two. I was talking between studying accounting and studying economics. So I'm just saying this because so you know that my background was not even in tech in that sense. Not in anything computer science or physics or even anything like that, right? So to cut a long story short, I gained admission into school and I studied economics. So as an economics student, and I did well in school. If I recall, I did so well in my first degree. And but the point is, even while I was doing all that, I wasn't so financially buoyant in that sense. This money angle, I think, it's a motivation on another level. Yeah, my parents tried and they did what they had to do, right, for me to survive, for me to scale through school, and even for my siblings, they did what they could do. And I had known from when I was so young, someone said a word, and that word stuck with me. The person was like, "Your life is in your hands." So, if you grow up, when you grow up and whatever you become in future, nobody's going to hear that it was the fault of someone why you didn't make it, right? It is going to be you didn't make it, and that's just it. So I'd always liked to make it. Of course, when I was in school, I was one of the brightest students in my class. But well, I'm not even using my certificate now, so it's good. So it's good to do well with school, but I think life is more than that already. Any mature person knows that right now, people are not just about what you even study in school. It's about the value you can add to the society. So his school is just a way to help us, trim the values we give out to the society, to help us nurture the value. So it doesn't have to be what we even did in school, right, that we will use to add value to the society. So back to my story, right? So when I was doing all that, I now realized that, okay, I needed to break free from the syndrome of not enough in sense of money, right? Going through school was a struggle for me because of a lot of factors, right? I am not that person that really came from the background that had so much money in that sense. But the point is that I was still able to maximize, what I had, but I already had this detest for poverty because of the shege my eyes saw, right? When I was in school, my eyes saw shege. I mean, premium shege. You know what it means? Sorry if you are not a Nigerian. Shege just means suffering. So you could imagine not even having to eat 2 square meals consistently. Sometimes this 010, sometimes 101. I scarcely had 111, if you know what I mean. These binary lives. Already, I had this mind of, I don't want to be poor. I just needed to break free from this not enough syndrome, right? So because if you're someone who was born with a silver spoon, you might not really understand all this I'm saying so much, but if you were not, so you would get what I'm trying to say. So I started like that. I had my career aspirations. I wanted to become an economist in that sense. That's why I was in school to study economics. Even though before I even gained admission, I had people saying, "Oh, do accounting so that you become a chartered accountant." And along the line, I started ATS. I think if you were in the accounting career, you know what ATS means. ATS, then so that I'm going to do my ICANN, then I'll be a chartered accountant and things. But I think after I finished, okay, I did ATS 1, I did ATS 2, I did ATS 3, and I graduated. So I was supposed to continue with, I think, the higher levels to become a chartered accountant, but because of funds, I was not able to continue, because to write the exam that time, I think I needed about 50-something thousand to write the exam. 50-something thousand. It was a huge money then to even write the exam, and to even register or something. All the money I needed was like 140-something thousand or so before you register for the classes and then you pay for the exams. I just had to stop it till I finished with my university. So after I finished with my university, I went to serve, right? I was posted to a very far state, I mean, you don't want to know the state. I was posted to a state that is just, I mean, we're using leg to enter Niger, the country of Niger. We're using leg to enter Niger. So I was posted, but of course, I had to redeploy because I was like, I don't think I want to spend the next 1 year of my life in this place, because it didn't just match up with what I wanted to do with my life. Because 1 year of my life in that place, I wouldn't be able to do so much, because the place it was in northern part of the country, which was very far, number one, and that environment is not really an environment that would really breed what I wanted to do. So I started pulling strings of how I could be, redeployed to a place in the southwest where I knew more places, and how I would, be able to navigate my life out and all. So I started my NYC, and at the same time, I started reading for my higher level exams in ICANN, that's at the chartered accountant. So I started reading. I had this notebook I was using to jot, because I had people that had gone ahead of me. They were giving me the materials and all. But along the line, I just had this tired. I was tired, really, because it wasn't just for me. For someone who studied economics in first degree, if you know economics very well, you would know that economics is different from accounting. Economics is not accounting. Economics is different. It's on another level. Macroeconomics, microeconomics, monetary economics, development economics, a lot of it is just different. So I wasn't just flowing with the vibe, and I found a new love. So what was this love I found? I found that I loved to analyze data. So how did this even start? How did analyzing data even start at all in the whole journey? So I think it also started while I was in my final year in school. So in my final year in school, I got I had a laptop, right, and which I was using to do my project. So, and I was able to do project for a couple of people in my department. I was able to help them with their project, or chapter 1, chapter 2, their analysis, things like that, and I realized that, chapter 4 is always about you analyzing your data, analyzing your findings. So that place, I did a lot of analysis and all, and I was making some money from it. So from my first year, second year, third year, my fourth year was the year I really said, I was balling. And what was the balling? The balling was not even, it was not ball anything, but because of my level that time, I was balling. I was balling, and maybe how much was in my account? Maybe I had some 35k in my account. So that was the balling. And for me to have this 5k in my account, I felt like, wow, you understand what I'm saying? So, but the point was that when I was my formal level, I started growing this love for analyzing data for people. We used SPSS that time to analyze data. We used chi-square, Hanover, things like that. In my department of economics, we did more of econometrics. So econometrics is like the combination of mathematics, economics, and statistics together. So you have econometrics to do analysis on. We use the software reviews to run, panel data analysis. And, fortunately, I was one of the people that I was one of the supervisees that my supervisor did like, because I don't know why he liked me, but I think I was also lucky with having a supervisor, because this supervisor was very, very, it's just like God sent. A supervisor can really determine your success in your first degree. It's not that you're not intelligent, but because of the supervisor you had in your final year, it could determine a whole lot in your first degree. So I was lucky to have this good, supervisor, and he was able to, put me through a lot of things. I was able to do a lot of things for even other people aside my own project, right? So the point is that I liked, data analytics from that point, and it already had a seed in me. I already had this seed inside of me. So when I started serving, and after I redeployed and I started reading for my chartered accountant exams and all, and I felt, I wasn't flowing with this thing. I had another love. So I met with the data analytics of the industry, right? So when I say industry now, I mean what is used in companies out there, because what we were taught in school is for the academic setting, because the data analytics of the academic setting is more of research. You have to research, and you have to write papers on research. So, and I'm not this research person. I don't really like research. I'm not this research person. You do a lot of theoretical review, empirical review, and a lot of things. I'm not that person, right? I'm the person that just likes to be innovative, to think outside the box, because as a research person, there are rules you have to follow, there are empirical rules, and well, to me, it was not exciting for me, right? It was just boring, some kind of boring, so I just had to feel like, okay, since there was something else that really looked like what I wanted to do, I felt like, okay, let me see if I could try my hands on it. So I knew of a software called Power BI, right? Power BI means Power Business Intelligence. It is a tool by Microsoft used for data analytics, and it is used for industries, So when I say industries now, maybe if you're working in a company, they would most likely use Power BI or Tableau. Power BI is a visualization tool, right? Or Tableau also is a visualization tool, but it's just that for Power BI, it is owned by Microsoft, and Tableau is just owned by Tableau, and it is more used in terms of you don't have to use Windows to be able to use Tableau, right? So, but the point is that software was like a game changer for me, because I now started liking data analytics more. So I started watching YouTube videos. I think I subscribed for a course on 365 data science, if I remember, but that course was not so explanatory for me. So fortunately, I had a friend who was also in that line of data analytics, and one thing led to the other. This my friend also was doing Power BI, and he had gone way ahead of me. He had started doing dashboards. He had started doing stuff. So I felt, challenged, because we both finished from the department together in my department there. So, so he had gone ahead of me, and we started doing all those things together. And, I was doing all of this because I just wanted to ensure that I don't finish my service year and still go back home as someone who is looking for a job, or someone who still is looking for money, because I know how going back home can be. It's not easy, really. You coming from a family that you have to really work your way out to success. It's not really easy. So I really want to stay in school and let me just find what to do, right? Even right things when I was in school, I did a lot of businesses in school. Oh, I didn't say that aspect. I did a lot of businesses in school. At one time, I was, I think the first one I did was I started a musical school, a musical school with my friend, because I'm someone who can play the keyboard, right? So that's the piano. So I started, but one thing led to the other. He didn't move. We had to shut down. All this was because I was still looking for money, of course. At another time, I started selling data. Data I sold, data for browsing. And how much was even on data, man? But man must survive, of course. That one I felt like, this thing is not really bringing money. I stopped. I started learning how to bake. Yeah, I baked till I was even serving. I started learning how to bake, when I was in 300 level. So when I was in 400 level, I already knew how to bake, and I was baking cakes for some of my students that I was doing maybe birthdays or things like that. So I baked at some point, and before I even now started writing the projects for people or even analyzing data. So I had done quite a lot of things, just because I was trying to look for money and all. So back to where I was, started with Power BI. I analyzed data for people, not even for people yet, right? For myself, because I really started learning it on my own, and doing it by myself. Oh, I even forgot to say this. When I finished, when I was serving, right? When I left camp, to tell you how desperate I was for, just be free from this, no money thing and the likes. I don't want to say poverty, but no money syndrome, right? I was even scammed. I was scammed, right? I was scammed, and I'll tell you how. And I left camp, and immediately I left camp, while I was trying to get a PPA and things like that. When I say camp now, I mean my youth service, right? If you were in Nigeria, you know what youth service is. After you're done with your first degree, you have to go for youth service, which is like you have to be sent to another state to serve the country there and things like that. So after I was back from camp, someone called me. He was like, "Oh, are you Tolu Adesina?" And I said, "Yes, I am." He said a friend gave him my contact that I'm also looking for a PPA. PPA just means primary place of assignment. So that's where you serve for 1 year after your camp, for 3 weeks. So you serve there for 1 year, and then you are then done, and then you say, "Oh, you are said to have completed your youth service." So he called me. I was like, a friend gave him my contact, and he said, "I'm looking for a place to do my PPA." And I said, "Oh yes, true." I was like, okay, that he has a link with someone who is in oil company. He has a link with a director in an oil company, and he wants to submit my name as part of those who would be, considered to be given a spot in that PPA. So he was like, the spot is currently in Port Harcourt, right? If I'm going to go there, I was like, oh, great. So he was like, oh, so I was like, how much is the pay and all? He told me, oil company for that matter, for you to serve in oil company, the kind of connections you will have, the kind of people you would meet there, a lot of things that could just come along with that thing. So the guy was like, okay. So I was like, okay, fine. What do you need me to do? So the guy said, for you to submit my name, I would have to buy the form, which I'm going to fill. So after I fill the form, I'm scanning it back to him, and he's going to submit it there, and they're going to reach out to me and all to work my relocation and all, or redeployment, to that state. And he just said a lot of things. I said, okay, fine, great, and all. I said, how much was it? I think he said 15,000. So I sent him the 15,000, and after I sent him the 15,000, I was like, okay, I've sent it. Okay, he told me to send my details to one email address. I sent my school certificate. I sent my I think NYC call-up letter. I sent a lot of things to the guy, not knowing that I was going to be scammed. Not knowing that I was going to be scammed. I sent it to the guy. Okay, so after I sent it, I called him back and said, okay, guy, I've sent it. What's the next step? Next thing was the guy asking for more money. That was where it all dawned on me that, oh boy. I'd never been scammed before, but that was my first experience, and no more. You don't want to experience that. So I contacted my bank, a lot of people, to know what I could do, but there was nothing I could do. So I accepted fate, right? So back to where I was. So after all that, after coming from all that, I didn't want to go back home with this no money syndrome, and I just needed to find a way out, right? So what did I do? I had to start learning, data analytics, like I was saying. So I started learning Power BI, started learning Excel also. So fortunately, someone who is a friend who I messaged one time, and I asked the guy, I was like, guy, what can I do? Is there any business I can do that I can even make money with and all? And so I think about 2 days later, the guy replied me. He sent me a link to watch a video, and I watched that video. Yeah, that video was one of the things that actually changed the course of my life, right? Even with the data analytics, I'll still tell you about the video and everything that happened. Don't worry. The data analytics part. So I started the data analytics thing, and I started doing projects. I started working on projects. I'm going to tell you more about what happened to me anyway in my next episode, which I'm going to be dropping. So if you're not subscribed yet to my page or to this page, please click the subscribe button so that you get updated when I drop the new episode. So I'm going to tell you what happened after I was scammed. I'm going to tell you the video that my friend sent to me, what was in there, and I'm going to tell you about my data analytics fortune and how it all started and led to where I am today. So if you like this video and if you want to learn more about tech, about using tech tools, about how to grow a career in tech and things like that, make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure you share this video with someone who you believe would need it. So next episode, where I'll be sharing those details again, make sure you don't miss it. Make sure you stay techy.